you're saying that maybe Miami didn't really make a push, as much of a push. I mean, it's not hard to outdo the offer that Phoenix put forth, but okay,
That's true.
it's not hard. They didn't make enough of a push because maybe they were holding out for the two in the bush as opposed to the bird in hand. The two in the bush being potentially Damian Lillard. Speaking of guys that's been too loyal for too long. And, it's funny you say, as NBA observers and fans and media, we want it both ways. Like, we criticize guys for being too loyal and not winning, but then guys that hop around and want to form these super teams, we criticize them as well. It seems like Damian Lillard is the opposite of that. Like, he wanted both ways. It's like he wants to be wanted and wants to be the center of the discussion in the NBA and speculated about, but at the end of the day, he ain't trying to go nowhere. And it's almost like, and I've said this, I fall into that trap because Damian Lillard has managed to craft a level of credibility that players who have moved on and won, like a Kevin Durant, won't have. Like, it's just Damian Lillard people seem to with Damian Lillard in a weird way where he doesn't get criticism for not having won or not having tried to win, because it's like, I'm going to be the opposite of this trend. I'm not going to go and try to form a super team or go and join another team. Like, if I don't get it done here, I'm just not going to get it done, and I'll be Reggie Miller. I'll be a modern-day Reggie Miller or something like that. How likely is it? And I often fear that we're wasting oxygen talking about the potential of a Damian Lillard trade every offseason, every regular season. How likely is it that this time around it finally happens as we come up on the draft where that third pick for Portland is going to be super critical, whether the Blazers can move it and bring in another star along with Anthony Simons, move it, or, I mean, whether it's Brandon Miller or Scoot Henderson, I don't know if that's enough to keep him there. How likely is it that now is the time when Damian Lillard is finally moved?
Well, part of it is, I think it's like multifaceted here, and I think it's really fascinating. And I think you sort of laid out the reasons, but let's expound upon it a little bit. Everybody likes to be wanted. Like, I remember a woman telling me this. A woman telling me this when we were first like starting to get to know each other, and I would downplay interest from other women. And I'll be like, nah, ain't nobody really, you know what I mean? Ain't nobody really out there like that. I'm kicking, I'm just working.
Ain't nobody checking me. Yeah.
And she,
yeah.
Right. And she was like, baby, don't nobody want nobody that don't nobody else want. And I was like, oh, okay. Now, I didn't change my get down immediately because I felt like that was the trap. But you take that into account. If you are the Portland Trailblazers, or if you're Damian Lillard,
hold on. Before you connect those two things, please tell me you stayed with her, if not still with her. Because that sounds like a keeper.
Oh, yeah, I would love to tell you that, but that didn't happen. That's a conversation for another day. Remember the phrase, "You're not gonna always get your lick back." Remember that phrase I said to you? That might very well apply to her. But we did get together. That was probably the most serious relationship I had.
So I mean, she sounded like she just had a good head on her shoulders. Damian Lillard, you were saying.
Or she was slick like Chris Paul.
Oh yeah.
but to the point of Dame talks all this stuff about loyalty, and I do believe that is like him. I don't think that's a ploy. I don't think that's him trying to get more money out of Portland. But at the same time, people can sleep on you. People can assume that because you said you'll always be there, that you're going to always be there. And you have to, at times, put pressure on a franchise who has not been into the playoffs the last few years, who said, we're going to build through the draft. I ain't got time to build through the draft. Remember that bad song that I hate, that bad wedding song that I hate? We ain't getting no younger. We might as well do this.
Might as well do
That's
it.
the stage that Damian Lillard is in right now. I ain't getting no younger. We might as well do this. Either we going for it or you trading me. And I think that's the point that Portland is at right now. If they keep the pick and they select one of these 19-year-olds on top of some of the young pieces you had on. Remember, they took Shaden Sharp last year. You got Anthony Simons already in the fold, who is believed that they're offering. You can't win with 19-year-olds and an older Damian Lillard. Like, he can't stay great enough long enough for those babies to mature and grow up and be something. So if they trade the pick, all right, cool, I'll stay. You know what I mean? But if y'all trying to play me, and y'all trying to build for the future and not trying to maximize my prime, y'all taking me for granted, then yeah, I'll say, man, I love to play with Mikal Bridges, or yeah, I love to be in Miami if they're gonna trade me. It feels like to me, nobody wants to say, okay, it's time for this relationship to end. Now, I know you've been in a spot like that before, where a relationship needs to end, but nobody wants to be the first person to say.
Oh, that's Gladys Knight. Neither one of us wants to be the first to say goodbye. That's Motown right there, baby. But no, my thing is like, and I love Dame, I really do. But this is Dame wanting it both ways because again, you get the credibility, you get the props, you get the, to be different, dare to be different in this day and age, like, wanting to take the stairs and not the elevator by staying in Portland and saying all the right things, but your name is constantly in the mix. And every year we talk about, is he going to want to trade? And I think it does feel good to him to be, there's something also in this media environment that we're in, this NBA Twitter environment, there's something to being the hypothetical. There is something to being, because it's like there's no downside to that. There is no downside to, man, if they traded for Damian Lillard, or if Damian Lillard went here, or if Damian Lillard had ever gone here or done this, that, and the other, what would he be? Like, there is no failure involved in that. Like, Kevin Durant has all the failures, even though he's been a champion several times, or a couple of times with Golden State. Kevin Durant has a super team in Brooklyn on his resume. He is about to have a super team in Phoenix that fails on his resume. Same with James Harden. They've all moved around searching for that thing that they couldn't find. Whereas Damian Lillard,
you just said a super team that fails. I like that. You calling your shot now?
That team ain't in Phoenix. That team ain't winning. We know that. Listen. I'm done betting on super teams to win. They ain't fooling me again. Those big threes. I gotta see it to believe it. That's the new thing, or at least I need the homegrown big threes is one thing. The more homegrown, and by more homegrown, I'm talking about Golden State before, or even Milwaukee. I know they traded for Drew Holiday, but I'm looking at Giannis and Middleton, and then adding Drew Holiday. It's a little different for me. This just feels like it's destined to fail. But a lot of it because of the reason we talked about. They got no depth. But there is no downside from a reputation standpoint for Damian Lillard staying in Portland and letting the speculation carry the day as opposed to actually going somewhere and losing. Because my thing about Portland is this. Like, realistically, Vin, who they going to get that's going to make them an actual contender in the Western Conference at this point? Like, the number 3 pick in this draft and Anthony Simons gets you what? And how much does that get you closer to Denver and Golden State? And hell, even Phoenix for that matter. Like, even if he does stay, like, we know how this movie ends.
Okay. I have a counter for you. You said who could get them closer. I'll just give you an outline. A man in a Burberry shirt.
A man in a Burberry shirt. All right, I don't understand what that means.
Now, you don't know what Burberry? You know what a Burberry shirt symbolizes when you see a man in a Burberry shirt?
No.
He and someone else is matching Burberry shirts.
No.
Michael Smith is having a slow moment, y'all. I'm talking about Zion Williamson. Burberry shirts, baby showers.
No. See, if that was a Zion reference, maybe just I know the brand.
That was a Zion reference.
Okay, no, I'm not. It's not okay. The reason I didn't pick up what you was putting down is because I'm tired of that story. She who shall not be named was added again this morning, and every time I see Zion Williamson trending, I be thinking, oh shit, that ain't why he trending. So if you ask me about Zion and you ask me about that situation, I know nothing. I know absolutely nothing about that.
But I'm not talking about her. I'm talking about
what he was wearing in a picture.
I'm just saying when people announce they got baby showers, you know what I mean? Maybe that's
Burberry shirts on and baby showers. Is that what it is?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So but before we get to Zion and why he would help Damian Lillard get where he's never gone before, let me explain to you why that didn't hit beyond the Zion of it all. My kids is 17, 15, and damn near 11. We wasn't announcing shit on Twitter and Instagram when my kids was born. Okay, it wasn't around when my kids was born. I'm old, dog. I'm an old head. So you're telling me about the trends and the pink and the blue balloons and shit and the viral videos and people announcing we ain't do that. Like, we just like, yo, What we having? You having a boy? You having a girl? Whatever. Is it healthy? That's it. We just had the baby, and people came over old school. This baby announcement thing, which sparked this whole online nightmare that we're all living every day if we dare log on to Twitter, and the algorithm figures out what is for you, and it tells you that you're interested in Zion. So you see Zion tweeting, or you again see she who shall not be named, her name trending.
He need a
then
role
you get
model
sucked into
hug.
a vortex. You get sucked into something that you don't want to be sucked into. So that's why I didn't connect the trend of a baby announcement with that particular player, because I tried to stay as far away from that shit as I possibly could, because I got enough drama in my life. But anyway.
So let me ask you this question.
Is Zion getting traded to Portland? Yes. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No. Did you guys know when your kids were born? Did you do like the gender thing, or not like a party, but did y'all know? Did y'all know what y'all were having, or did y'all like?
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
surprised?
just to be able to. No, I know, because we had to prepare. We had to go ahead and paint the room certain colors and that sort of thing. Yeah.
Okay, no, because my parents, for all three of their kids, they didn't know. So they were all surprised
whenever when we popped out. Yeah.
Oh,
that's cool.
Old school. That's
cool.
Now my sister, when she had her son, she had a gender reveal party, and I was completely outdone. I'm like, we do gender reveal parties, like we don't just find out from the doctor and figure out what the hell you having and call it a day. All right, cool. I digress because I don't have kids. But here's an analogy you can relate to, because you just said it with Dame. You a married man. You walking down the street, or you at the vineyard, because y'all types be hanging out at the vineyards during the summer. You walking down the streets and you got your cargos on, you know what I mean, and you fly, and some woman gives you the up down. You know it ain't going nowhere. You a married man, but that'll make you feel good in the moment. Tell me that'll make you feel like $1 million when some random says something to you. I still got it. So that ain't what Dame doing. I'm
out here Brett Favre. Try to see if I still got it. Can I quote that?
Don't. Is that okay? Don't do that, Brett. Don't do that, because that Brett Favre might lead you in a bunch of different directions.
That was a cold ass bar from Three Stacks, and Brett Favre out here ruining it. But that was a cold ass bar. Now they got me out here Brett Favre and trying to see if I still got it. So that's what's happening here with Dame.
I think. This is just not even an educated guess. This is just it's a lot. At some point, there's going to be some smoke where it turns into a fire. Because remember last year he was coming off of an injury, that abdominal injury, and people were saying, okay, is this the end of Damian Lillard? And then Dame comes back and plays like this. And, he was on my All-NBA ballot and everything else, despite his team looking the way that it looked. You can't keep going to this well of, good luck and health, is what I'm saying. And saying, okay, I'm making this type of money. I'm worth this type of money. And my team isn't going anywhere. Like, at some point, you're going to be on the back end of this, and the team is going to consider you not worth it. Look, Bradley Beal might not be worth it. He's played 90 games in the last 2 years, and that 30-point average that he averaged in 2021, that was 3 years ago. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, his production isn't even what it was when he led the league in scoring. It can turn very, very quickly, even for the best, most athletic players. So for Dame being 6'2", 6'3", the urgency, and I'm not saying he understands it or he gets it, because athletes never see it, but the urgency of the finite talent that he has, the time that he has. Like, Chris Paul got old overnight. You know what I mean? Like, he was always hurt, but he got old overnight. So you have to be very, very careful with the leverage that you have. And if this could very well be the best of the rest that we see of Dame Lillard. And if Miami winds up being a play, or Brooklyn winds up being a play, or winning in my prime while I'm still a reasonable version of myself winds up being a play, maybe now's the time to go.
Hey, thanks so much for kicking it with your main man, Michael Smith. Be sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel, but also subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Rate it, review it, tell your friends about it. Oh, and be sure to follow me on social media.